subtracting like mixed numbers. If you have a like number, that means it's the numbers that have the same denominators. Now there's 3 steps you need to do to be able to subtract any kind of mixed number fraction that has the same denominator. First step is to focus on the fractions. You might have to regroup, then you focus on your wholes. And then personally, I like to simplify at the end. So let's go through 2 problems. The second one, I will admit, it's a little bit harder than the first, but you'll understand the process by the end of this video. The first step is to look at your fractions. I have 11/12 minus 8/12. Now, since they have the same denominator, that means that I can actually work this problem out. I can subtract it. So if I start with 12ths and I subtract a 12th, I'm going to get a 12th, and then 11 minus 8 is 3. So I was able to subtract my fractions accurately and get the new fraction of 3/12. Now I can focus on my 2 whole numbers. 4 minus 1, you can do that pretty easily. You get the answer of 3. Now I'm really close to done. If you get to this point, so far you have subtracted like fractions effectively. The last thing you need to do is to be able to simplify your fraction. You have to think about the factors of 3 and the factors of 12 and see, okay, what's the greatest common factor that goes into both of them? If I have my factors of 3, it's 1 and 3. If I have my factors of 12, it's 1, 12, 6 and 2, 4 and 3. The biggest thing they both have in common is 3. I'm going to leave myself a large amount of space so I can fit back in my whole number. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that's my simplified fraction. And I kind of smash my whole number in there at the end. So my final answer is 3 1/4. 3 1/4, which makes sense because think about it. If you have 4 and some change minus 1 and some change, you're going to probably get left with 3 and some change. So just use your estimation. Now this one, I have 6 wholes, and this answer is a lot closer to 4. So 6 minus 4 is going to be 2. You're going to be left with something smaller. Now another problem here is if we start out with our fraction, which you have to, 1/4, 1/4 minus 3/4. I know it's going to be fourths, but I can't do that problem. I can't do 1/4 minus 3/4, so I'm going to have to borrow from my whole number. So I'm going to take 1 away from my whole. I'm going to borrow 1 from it. That 6 is going to change to a 5. And the question is, what is this numerator going to change into? Well, think about it. You're borrowing that 1 pizza, so your whole pizza that you started out with, let's say this is your whole pizza, and it was started out like this as a 1 whole, you are now going to give it to your fraction, which means you're going to have to break it up into fractions. Well, all of my pizzas are broken up into fourths, so if I break it up into fourths, how many slices is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to give 4 slices to that 1 slice that's already there. That 1 is going to change to a 5. Whenever you're having to regroup with fractions, you are going to give whatever your denominator is to your numerator, because that's how many slices your whole pizza is cut into. You're like breaking apart those 4 and giving it to that 1. So now I have a fraction I can work out. 5/4 minus 3/4 is 2/4, so I found my fraction answer. And now I'm looking at my wholes to subtract. It's not 6 minus 3 anymore because I had to borrow. It's 5 minus 3, and that's 2. And if you get here, you can subtract. The only thing that you need to make sure you can do effectively is simplify. Think about what's the largest factor that these both have in common that you can go into. Well, 2 divided by, what are my factors of 2? 1 and 2, that's easy. What are my factors of 4? 1 and 4, 2 and 2. The greatest common factor they have in common is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, giving myself a lot of space so I can put my whole number in afterwards. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and put my whole over here. So my final answer is 2 1/2. If you follow these steps over to the side by starting with your fractions, regrouping if need to, subtracting your wholes, and then simplifying, you'll be able to accurately subtract any like mixed number problem you come across. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe.